Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to UndergroundWellness.com. Today, I kind of want to kick a little freestyle about grains and my thoughts on grains and whether or not I think human beings are supposed to be consuming them. I've been doing lots of reading about Paleolithic nutrition, primal nutrition, nutritional anthropology, epigenetics, the way that our foods influence our genes and expression of our genes, and also what kind of foods do our genes expect in the first place. And I want to read a quote to you guys. If you guys were on my Twitter yesterday, you probably saw like 20 or 30 quotes from this book, Primal Body, Primal Mind. The author, Nora Gedgaudas, I think that's how you say her name, is on my radio show tonight. It's going to be a phenomenal show. And the quote in her book is by Dr. S. Boyd Eaton, medical doctor as well as medical anthropologist, and it goes something like this: 99.99% of our genes were formed before the development of agriculture. So when we think about this, a lot of people say, I need my grains. Grains are a necessity. We cannot live without them. We need the fiber, we need the nutrients, but that can't be true when the agricultural revolution was just 10,000 years ago, and really most people on earth didn't consume grains very much before that happened. And when you think about human history and how long human beings in our form have been here, it's going to differ, with who you talk to as far as anthropologists and whatnot. It's going to be somewhere between 2.2 to 2.6 million years. And that number just seems to get larger and larger and larger as time goes on. Now, 2.2 to 2.6 million years. When we think about the book of human history, let's say it's this fat. And then we think about when the agricultural revolution happened, 10,000 years ago. And according to who you read or where you read, grains and agriculture didn't make it into Europe until maybe 2,500 to 5,000 years ago. And so when you think about when the agricultural revolution happened, it's maybe a page ago, one page, maybe 2 pages ago in that big fat book of history. So I'm wondering, has that been sufficient times for human beings and our genetics and our physiology to adapt to this relatively brand new food called grains? And when you talk to anthropologists and you read their writing, if you were to ask them, what's one of the worst things to ever happen in human history? And they will say that the agricultural revolution was. Now, a lot of you guys may differ, but we're talking from a health standpoint. Our brain shrunk. We got shorter in stature. Our days got longer. We started to work longer days. We started to get chronic degenerative diseases when we switched from our more natural, primitive diet of animals and fat and protein and low carbohydrates. And why was it low carb? Well, think about it. Would you be able to eat a high carb diet, a high grain diet during the ice ages? Absolutely not. The ice ages were a really big chunk of human history there. So we switched from that over to agriculture. And we started having problems, the very same problems that we have today. And so I'm having a hard time understanding how our genetics have become accustomed to these grains that fast. And is the diseases, or are the diseases that we're getting these days, are they in large part due to the drastic change in our diets that our bodies have not gotten used to? And we're eating them in such ridiculous amounts with our food guide pyramids and whatnot, and the Department of Agriculture stuffing them down our throats, calling them heart healthy and they're good for us when they're absolutely not. Now, there's other problems with grains. Phytic acid, I'll blog about these. I don't want to go on and on. It's going to be a 15-minute video if I talk about everything, so I'll blog about it down there. But phytic acid is an issue. Goitrogens are an issue. The starch itself and what it does to your blood sugar in terms of insulin resistance and obesity and metabolic syndrome, those are an issue. Gluten, we've talked about gluten several times on the radio show. That's a big problem for a lot of people. A lot of people think, oh, I don't have gluten sensitivity. Well, 7 out of 10 people who have gluten sensitivity don't have digestive dysfunction. It's going on somewhere else in the body. Autoimmunity, which is the number 3 cause of mortality and morbidity in the industrialized world, can be triggered by gluten. And again, for a lot of people, it's silent. They don't know they have gluten issues, and the next thing you know, they've got autoimmunity. That's a problem. And so a lot of people are going to say, well, are going to ask me, what about the gluten-free grains? Well, those aren't as good as we thought they were either due to prolamines, due to lectins, due to the damage that they do to the gut. I run a test kit in my office called the intestinal barrier screen. I have not seen a normal, properly functioning gut quite yet. Never. And I've run hundreds of these tests. And one thing that you want to do in order to heal the gut, because the gut is incredibly important for so many things, is you want to take away anything that is damaging and irritating and inflammatory to that gut. And that would be grains. And so it's just some stuff that's going through my mind. We're going to talk with Nora tonight about grains and just see, hey, should we be eating them? Should we be eating them in moderation? Should we cut them out altogether? I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm starting to think maybe we should cut them out altogether or maybe cheat a little bit, but if you got gluten sensitivity, you shouldn't. But anyway, I can go on and on. I'm not going to talk your ears off. Thanks for tuning in. Check you out tomorrow. Check out the show tonight. We're out here. Peace.